I think for Brazilian companies looking at the U.S. market and looking at entry points into the U.S. market, we're at a unique time in the U.S. economy. We have an economy that has continued to grow over the last 6-7 years. We also have a new tax regime which is friendly to international investment into the U.S. market. It also provides the opportunity for Brazilian companies looking to enter the U.S. market with a very favorable tax regime and a very favorable economy with continued growth, relatively low interest rates in terms of funding growth, and a very receptive tax regime.
But why the Brazilian how can you convince Brazilian companies that doing business in the United States, start the business in the United States by acquisitions is a good strategy for them?
So if you have a Brazilian company that's interested in entering the U.S. market, there are several ways that a Brazilian company can do that, or any overseas company. One is to do it organically, which is to build your own team and grow your own business over a period of time. That takes time, and there are risks associated with that. An alternative is to acquire an existing company with an existing customer base and existing relationships and revenue and profits in place, to acquire one of those companies, and there are many in the US, in all segments of industry. That provides you with an accelerated opportunity to enter the US market and may have a lower risk profile and a higher probability of success than moving into the US market organically and slowly. It really depends on the profile of the Brazilian company that's interested in entering the US market and what is their patience level in terms of building a business slowly, relative to really wanting to hit the ground running in the US with some scale and relationships.
But Brazil is a huge country with the seventh economy in the world, and but they are very centered on the internal markets. Do you think that you have an explanation for it? It's time to change? What do you recommend for Brazilian companies to come here to explore the American market and the global market? Would you like to talk about that?
Well, for a Brazilian company, Brazilian economy, big opportunities, but the US market is the biggest market in the world. And if you want to sustain growth, and if you're looking at an international or an overseas opportunity to do that, the US market at this stage, given the favorable tax regime and given a growing economy, would be one of the places that Brazilian companies should look at.
And we are here to help.
And we're here at Exphere and happy to help companies that are seriously considering either particularly an acquisition, where their strategy to enter the US market, their strategy to continue corporate growth is through an acquisition in the US market. We'd be very happy to help Brazilian companies both review potential opportunities, present them with potential opportunities once we understand what their strategy is.
Wonderful.